I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller.
Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Ellen.
Good to see your shining face again.
Good to see you. Welcome to Chicago. It's been a weird, awful week.
My brain has not stopped just being filled with thoughts for days and days.
So many. Like it's
so
just
many
like
thoughts.
it's
I mean, I always have thoughts, but
Right.
I guess obsessing a little over what's been going on and just trying to make sense of it, you know, in this lovely country that we're living in.
Well,
right now.
we'll try to make some sense.
Yes,
of
we
it
are, and our
today,
listeners will
but-
help us too, I think.
I hope so. Yeah. Yes. So, and also, we're good at throwing out some distractions.
Yes, we
too.
are. We
That's
need
good.
them.
So we need some distractions as well. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Open Space Arts presents the U.S. premiere of Cameron Rasdell Monroe's semi-autobiographical drama Gangsta Baby. It's the story of a young gay sex worker in the working-class city of Hastings, UK, as he navigates a volatile and complicated relationship with his homophobic gangster father. You know, tale as old as time.
That's all this time.
Yeah, it's got a lot of buzz around it. It was a huge hit in London. It's now here in Chicago in a very intimate theater. So we're going to be chatting with playwright and actor because Cameron's actually in it too.
Oh, cool.
Cameron Rasdell
Perfect.
Monroe and director Ricky Beadle Blair will be joining us in the second year. And of course, it is that time of year again. Time for Reeling 2025, the
Love
43rd Chicago International LGBTQ Plus Film Festival. This year's documentary centerpiece is It's Dorothy, a magical remix of archival and cinematic art and interviews that shines a light on how Dorothy Gale from The Wizard of Oz has become a queer cultural touchstone. And director Jeffrey McHale is going to be joining us in the second hour. It is so good.
I loved it. I didn't know what to expect, and I think we both had the same feeling that I never realized how much that character resonated with the community and why, and that really explained a lot of things.
It's so funny because like over the years we've had a lot of people oh God, why is Angela? Oh my gosh, her name she's a friend of mine.
Okay, I can't help you with that.
But we've had people who played Judy Garland, you know, as Angela Ingersoll. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, my brain. She's won an Emmy for her work with this show that she had created about Judy Garland. There's also been plays and about, you know, and I've always asked for explanations, like why does it really resonate within this community? And like they give great answers, but this particular film where it like intersects gender, race, sexuality, like it's all of these moments and just like the what is the uniting force behind all of that resonates. So I'm so excited.
I really loved the film.
Yeah, do not miss it. It's really fantastic. And girl, look, it has been a week, and boy, oh boy, do we want to hear from you. So the Creedle mobile phone line and text line is now open at 773-763-9278. And WCPT listeners now get 25% off 2 years at Creedle Mobile with the code WCPT25. Creedle Mobile, a progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. And we really would love to hear from you. There's a lot going on in the world, and we want to know how you doing? And we would love to hear some of your thoughts about stuff that's happening in the world. Of course, you can always listen to Out Chicago every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on WCPT 820 a.m. on TuneIn, heartlandsignal.com, or you can watch the live video stream on the WCPT Facebook page or the Heartland Signal YouTube page. How are you doing? How was Muskie Fest?
Muskie Fest was a record breaker. Are you ready for this? Are you sitting down? Of course you are.
I am sitting down, yes.
12,000 people.
Holy smokes.
12,000.
You sent that picture and I was like, that's amazing. Congratulations on such a huge.
I mean, there's an appeal about this festival that I don't quite understand, but I'm happy about it.
Because it's like homegrown. It's not
it's
yours.
Right.
You know, it's not like a city thing. It's not like a neighborhood. It's like, it truly is like, it's like a giant block party.
It is. It's like a giant block party with lots of beer and bratwurst. And, you know, they actually have a lot of vendors. It's not your standard cover bands that you see the same, you know, five or six bands at every street festival. That's a whole nother subject for another show. But
Girl, you bring that subject up almost every show during the summer.
Because, you know, everybody is so happy when they hear our band. They're like, you know what, a breath of fresh air. Why don't we see it at more festivals? It's because these festival promoters, they book the Trident. Well, this band draws these cover bands, these 80s bands. But guess what? The crowd that was out there for Muskie Fest
loved it.
Loved it, all ages.
And I'm sure the crowd that was at Lakeview East Arts Festival.
Yes, last night we played Lakeview East Arts Festival. Thank you to everybody that came out to both shows, frankly, because we had a lot of friends out there and a lot of neighbors and just a lot of love out there. And, our band brought it. We had a great time, and that's our last festival show of the year. We do have a couple of private events coming up, but it's always a little sad that, we don't know when the next big show is going to be, but hopefully there'll be more.
Of course.
But the shows went off great. The weather cooperated.
Oh my gosh, this weather's been amazing.
Last night was perfect. Because it was nice temperature, wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. So it's always a privilege and a pleasure to play with my band Nelson Street Revival. So that was awesome. And, I was off last week. Ken did a great job, as always, filling in for me. But I saw a lot of things in the last couple of weeks. But one of the things I did see this week that I want to mention is the new play at Northlight Theater called The First Lady of Television.
Oh, yeah. About Emma.
Where's my camera? Is this the camera?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Emma Goldberg.
Yes, about Gertrude Berg.
Gertrude Berg.
Yes. Guess what? I knew nothing about this person. Even I'm a little too young for her.
Right.
Her show was on and off the air before I was born.
She was the very first sitcom.
Wow. She was on radio. It was a Jewish family, a radio show about a Jewish family called the Goldbergs. And then when television started, it was on television for a while, but the Red Scare was going on, the McCarthyism of the 50s. And I'm not going to give everything away, but basically the premise is one of the actors in the show plays her husband. He was a union organizer. He was a civil rights activist, and he was blacklisted. He was on the Red Channel, it's called. And sponsors of the show threatened to cancel this TV show once she was on TV unless he was fired. And the whole show it's great because it goes from them actually doing the show to breaking and having conversations, and you learn about what about this Red Scare, and her, she's conflicted because she doesn't want everybody to lose their jobs, yet she doesn't want her beloved co-star to lose his job.
Right.
And I loved it. I actually, there's a speech that plays the part of her husband. He was fantastic. His name is William Dick, and he does a speech about America first and how he's fighting against this kind of mentality. And I literally welled up in tears. Yeah. Because of where we are today. This show could not be any more timely. I heard an interview with B.J. Jones a couple weeks ago, and, the choice of this show, and even as of what happened Wednesday, even more so. Yeah. Even more timely. So it's already been extended, I believe, into the October 8th, maybe, and I highly recommend it. The role of Gertrude Berg was played by Cindy Gold, who is priceless in this role.
Oh, fantastic.
She is absolutely made to play this role.
She's an amazing human, too. She is
friends with friends of mine, and so I ran into a bunch of friends there. What else? That's how we roll here. But I just can't recommend this show enough. It's 75 minutes, our favorite, one act.
Come on, no one and done. Get
one
in,
and
get
done.
out. Mm-hmm.
And it has your attention the whole time. So First Lady of Television, go check it out. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. The only way I know about that show is there was a series that PBS put out called Make 'Em Laugh, the history of funny business in America. I think that's what the thing was. But it was about comedy in America, and it was divided up into the outliers, the outlaw, sitcoms and whatever. And I used to, when I was a teacher, we would study comedy with my students, and because I was also trying to do technology, they would have to for their project, they would have to write a sitcom and shoot and produce it as a group. And they have to and they had to have 2 commercial breaks. One had to have a satire, one had to be parody. And part of the history of the sitcom was Meet the Goldbergs, which was considered the very first situation comedy.
Yeah, I mean, Kathy, studied communications and journalism in college. She never heard about it either. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised it isn't a part of the textbook learning about the history of radio and television in our country, especially because, well, you'll see. I don't want to give anything away, but you know how things transpired for this show. So, just so much great stuff out there. We're so lucky. Again.
Yeah.
You know, I saw a ton of music. I saw the band 10cc. Are you familiar with them?
That name is familiar.
I'm not in love.
Oh yeah.
And
Big Boys Don't Cry. Big Boy. Isn't that the
no,
one?
that's not them.
Who's that? Oh, that's an Alan Parsons project.
Yeah,
or something. Yeah.
But they also did Dreadlock Holiday. I don't like reggae. Oh
Okay.
no, I like. Okay, it was a big hit on
Sure.
WXRT in the 80s or 70s. Anyway, just great shows. Saw them. I saw Jeff Tweedy did a free show last Sunday at Gallagher
Great.
Way. That was to benefit the JCC community. We're just so we just went. We've been doing it all because it's kind of staycation time here in Chicago.
Right on, yeah.
So
It's
tell me
beautiful
about
out
your
there.
last
Girl,
couple of weeks
you know,
that I've missed.
I've just been trying to keep my lips above the waterline,
Yeah, I know.
like so many of us. You know, it's just been it's the hits keep coming, and it's a very challenging time right now. But you know, still looking to find fellowship and community. A friend of mine, it was his birthday yesterday, so he threw himself a pizza party.
I love that.
Which was great.
Was it a special birthday or every birthday is special?
Every birthday is special. I think it was kind of a big one. I don't even know.
Okay.
Well, I don't even know, but it was a Dicey's. Have you ever been to Dicey's?
I've never heard of
It's
Dicey's.
like in West Town. It's
No.
really good.
Good pizza?
Great pizza, great salads, it's great. It's like a tavern, good classic tavern style pizza. I'm telling you, Dicey's, go check it out. It's on Chicago.
Never met a pizza I didn't love.
I know, there we go. But on the way there, I made sure to stop by Pots to the People. Last week, we had actor and ceramic artist Leslie Bevan on. She's also a dear, dear friend of mine. And she had organized a fundraiser for the ACLU. And she put out a call to ceramicists across Chicago and across the country, even across the globe. They had some pieces from Scotland. And she asked people to donate their seconds. So seconds are the things that have
To be little defects, small defects.
but like this, most of the
You can't
time,
even
it's just
tell.
stuff from that the artist can see and like, oh no, I can't do this. So they offered to donate that. It was called Seconds for the First Amendment.
what a
So
great
you'd
concept.
go there and buy pottery. They're usually this time they were just doing basically mugs. And for a $25 donation, you would
Pick out a mug?
and you would go to send it off to the ACLU. So we stopped by there. By the time we got there it started at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, which was, that crazy storm that we had that came through.
Oh, yeah. It
My
was,
poor dog. That was Maggie. Was she just...
well, she's on some meds for
right
her
now.
lymphoma, so she's okay now. It's crazy.
Poor little Emmett Otter. That boy is on phenobarbital for his epilepsy, and he was not happy. So, and the
she's
thing
usually out of her mind, so I get it.
He cannot jump into our bed anymore. Well, he can. He's just bit it a couple of times.
Yeah, our dog did too, so we put the steps up.
Well, we can't. I mean, that's just
Okay.
But he gets into the guest room bed. So I got up like at 6:30 and went over and like just sat with it and laid with him and just like pet poor little guy. But anyway, but it was like so. But there was a tempestuous beginning of the day. They started at 10 o'clock in the morning for Pots to the People. And by the time I got there at noon,
Everything was gone?
Almost everything was gone.
That's success.
That's very much success. So they're looking to try to continue the success and to hold another one, and also to let it spread either throughout Chicago or throughout the country. So if you want to learn more about this, follow them on Instagram. It's at @POTS_TO_the_people.
Great
Pots
concept.
to the people.
Great concept.
Yeah, and it's just like it's something. All this time we're talking about like what can we do? What is something that we can do to actively like help protect our rights, help protect our thing, and
Things we used to take for granted.
I know, and I've
longer.
been so proud of my friend Leslie, who has really jumped into this activist role. She shows up. She's like, I need, what can I do? What can I do? So she has been like at every protest, and she is like writing people. She's sending letters, and she's throwing these events, and it's just.
And when we lay in bed at night thinking about all the things going on, especially lately, if you can be an activist in any way, any small way, large way, medium way, at least helps you, I think, to process and feel like you're doing something, because we all feel helpless often.
Yeah.
So, any kind of activism you can come up with.
So doing something, and also, again, when you're out there doing something, other people see you doing something, and it might lead you to do something
Absolutely.
as well.
For sure.
So that was really good. And then I always have to go to like my happy place, and I need to like just cook. So I cooked all weekend.
Oh, Sweetie just confirmed, yes, the whispered lyric big voice is from 10cc.
Thank you.
You are correct.
Thank you.
That voice doesn't cry. That voice doesn't cry.
Not love.
Thank you at home checking this.
Yeah.
I have one other thing I wanted to talk about. I was at a theater benefit on Monday night. Karaoke.
Oh, come on now.
Red Orchid Theater.
Okay. Were you at a Red Orchid or were you at a karaoke place?
We were at a bar called G-Man on Clark Street.
Yep.
I'm sure you knew a lot of the people there. It was the beginning of the kickoff of the season. And do you know Jen Eggstrom? She's an actor with Red Orchid and a bunch. Anyway,
yes,
we did Roadhouse Blues together, and she did a whole Facebook post about we have a past from the early 90s, and basically she was a server at a holiday party I had, and she completely killed my disposal during the party, and water started coming up, and I didn't know, but she felt bad about it for 35 years.
Oh my gosh.
And when I went up to her and said, hey, do you remember me? And she goes, yes, I clogged up your disposal. I go, oh, for God's sakes. And, I said, I need someone to sing Roadhouse Blues tonight because I'm going to do it. I have my harmonica. Will you sing it? I said, let's make a new memory. And we did. And she wrote this unbelievable Facebook post about redemption, about how, she carried this, you never know what people are, you assume I'm over it. I got over it that night,
right.
know? But it was a really cool and kind of neat thing that happened that night.
A little full circle moment.
Yeah, and then the following night, At Properties had a party for the founding members, agents of At Properties. It was karaoke again.
All right. Well,
Who would have
so much karaoke.
Who would have thunk 2 karaoke parties in a row?
Sometimes people just got to sing. You know what I mean?
This is what makes us feel good right now. Sing. Do what makes you feel good. Go take a class. Learn something new. Go to a march. Sell seconds for ACLU. We need to keep our brains in a positive, healthy state because it is very easy to go to a different place right now.
1,000%. And the place that we need to go to right now
is a commercial break.
Is to a little bit of a break. But before we do that, this part about Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you're having trouble keeping up with your bills, it's time to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender, about a fresh start debt consolidation mortgage. Sam, 56, he's a press operator earning $90,000 a year, living in a $300,000 single-family home with a $150,000 mortgage. Now, despite having equity in his home, Sam missed his January mortgage payment, which dropped his credit score more than 60 points and prevented him from refinancing until February of the next year. Now, if Sam had called Team Hochberg in December, they could have helped him pay off his debt, avoid missing his mortgage payment, and enhance his credit score. So if you're struggling with bills and have equity in your home, call Team Hochberg now. Not tomorrow, not next week or next month at 855-563-2843. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of WCPT listeners, but they can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. The number again is 855-563-2843 or visit the website you know and love, 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are diving into the news of the week. So we would love to hear from you. Yep. The Credo mobile phone and text line is open. It's 773-763-9278. We will get to news of the week and your calls right after this break. So stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Hey, this is Mark Patton, and I'm from Spring Clean, My Nightmare on Elm Street, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller. Just a reminder, hey, Monday on Chew's Views, Richard Chew will be joined by Sarah Jones, managing editor and co-publisher of Politicus USA, and University of Chicago political science professor Susan Stokes, whose new book is The Backsliders: Why Leaders Undermine Their Own Democracies. Also this week, retired Army Major General Randy Manner will join Richard in studio. He's the former acting vice chair of the National Guard Bureau. That's Chew's Views, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., the Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Yeah, also, before we get into all the horribleness of the thing, like, what makes me really sad is I wanted to spend this week celebrating Jerry. Jerry Dye, he is now a two-time published playwright. His play Cicada, which is like his baby, finally is available for folks to purchase with dramatic publishing.
I saw on the FB. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah,
well
me
deserved.
too. I'm very, very happy. This is a very, very special piece. It was just one of the first things that he wrote that really kind of like put him on on the map and on this trajectory that he's been on. So I'm very, very proud of him.
As you should be.
I know.
Congratulations, Jerry.
I know. Come on, Bunny. We're very, very happy for you. Because that's what I wanted to be celebrating this week. But instead, to say that this week was crazy is like... That's just like, what? The understatement of the century. But let's recall... how this whole week began with let's see, SCOTUS basically making racial profiling legal, and the infamous Epstein birthday book was released, but then everything just stopped except for outrage and vitriol when conservative activist Charlie Cook was shot and killed this week in Utah, and it was awful.
Of course, it's always awful if someone is murdered for, no matter what, if you agree with them or not. It's free. We live in a country where we're allowed to have free speech, and to murder somebody for speaking their mind, even if we completely disagree with them and think it's vile what he says, doesn't mean he should be assassinated.
And immediately, like, things just kind of went haywire.
Oh, because it all flows from the top.
Yeah, well, you had the right claiming that he must be a liberal. Dear Leader Ding Dong was doing his very best to stoke the fires of hatred. FBI Kash Patel, what? How inept?
He is exactly what we thought he was.
I know, but somebody he picked up the wrong person, and then he was out to dinner. It's just like.
Nothing surprises us, Scott.
He couldn't handle
right
a manhunt, just an on and on with all this stuff. So, where were you when you heard the news, Ellen?
I was sitting with my dear aunt, Aunt Virginia, and her son, who's visiting from Arizona, who is a Trumper. And I looked at my phone and said, "Oh, Charlie Kirk was shot." This is before we knew he was dead, and he wasn't that familiar with him. He's an older guy. Kathy was. I knew his name, but of course, once I started looking at I went down the rabbit hole and listened to many of his campus debates, quote unquote. I remembered hearing about him because of the things that he professed.
Yes.
So,
but we don't want to indoctrinate the youth on our college campuses.
Yeah. Right. God forbid if we teach them about history, slavery, LGBTQ rights, compassion, caring about each other, caring about immigrants. God forbid if we show them that, if we educate them that way. Yeah, but
it's been.
How about you? Where were you?
I was actually on like a lunch break at work, and I was just kind of scrolling through. Because I like to check in on the X or Twitter just to see what's happening, and I saw the video.
I did not.
Whoa!
I hear it's very grotesque and sad.
Awful.
And weird.
It is just awful. It's awful, and it's like, oh no. I really didn't know how to respond. because political violence is never justified.
No.
Ever.
No, it's not.
And to see, like, as it's been pointed out ad nauseum this week, to see how dear leader Ding Dong is going after and accusing half of the country.
Yeah.
For this happening. The other half just, it's.
Yeah, you know, we live in a country where those of us of a certain age have seen lots of things happen, whether it was the assassination of Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy, 9/11. We have seen some horrible things in this country. But one thing has been consistent, no matter what party the president was a part of. They always, Democrat and Republican, urged people to come together, to unite, but we have a guy that is so horrible, who is so incapable of leadership, of true leadership, of trying to soothe the nation when bad things happen. It is a crime that this man is where he is today. Mm-hmm. It is sickening, and to think that people think he's okay. This is what keeps me awake at night, is that people think his rhetoric, his horrible words, what he said about the state legislators in Minnesota when they were murdered, which was little to nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to call the governor. He's a bad governor. Why are people in this country accepting leadership like this? We should be in the streets being mad as hell. And once again, he's fomenting the worst in America by saying that left-leaning Democrats are the worst. They're the ones that did this. Who accuses without even having anybody in custody? No president has ever done that.
Somebody who doesn't believe that he is president over all of America.
No, he is not.
He is president for red states, for red America, for what's going on, and he does not view. But that's the bigger thing. That's the bigger problem, because right now that is how it feels like a majority of Americans, American politics today. It's not that we have similar goals. We just have different ways to go about doing them. We view every person who opposes our thought as an enemy, as a true enemy of what's going on. I mean, just look at the GOP. As soon as anybody says something that comes out against Ding Dong, mm-hmm. then they're like, all it is like primary. You're going to be primary. Right. You're a rhino. You're they turn and eat their own. And we do this, and the left does the same thing. We have lost the ability to have civil discourse. And it's these things.
I know.
It's these things. It's social media. We are not fed the same information. We're barely about the same event that is happening. Everybody is curated, and what they take in, and they go to their own camps, and that is gospel. And there is no such thing as civil discourse anymore. There is no such thing as attempting to try to come together as a United States. There are a couple of pieces on the Advocate. Mm-hmm. The Advocate, which is
the LGBTQ publication,
and it's wonderful. And one of them, by John Casey, was entitled "Charlie Kirk's Murder Proves America Has Crossed a Bridge to Hell, with the Road to Peace Not on the Horizon." In it, he writes, quote, "Some might hope Kirk's death would be a moment to pause, to step back, to take a breath, to send all the fighters back to their corners for a moment of reflection, but that won't happen. We've gone too far. In a week or two, we'll move on. Nothing will be toned down. If anything, his death will fuel more hate, more conspiracy theories, more people pointing fingers at a boogeyman of their choice," unquote. Again, that was from The Advocate, written by John Casey.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree, sadly, with him.
I agree sadly with him as well.
It's...
Charlie Kirk is from my hometown. We grew up in the same town at a different time. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that until, it seems like weeks pass by and it's like 24 hours sometimes. Right. And I was horrified. I just kept getting I left the suburbs. I went to college. Okay. I moved into the city when I got a job in the city. My friends, many of them that never left Prospect Heights or that area, ironically, or not ironically, but they are conservative. They're Trumpers, a lot of them. And it brought up everything that makes me crazy about, where I grew up. Although the area has changed, it is not leaning anymore Republican because so many young people have moved into the area. But it was like, oh yeah, he's from Prospect Heights. Of course he's from Prospect Heights, and it just haunted me that he was from my hometown, because I knew that there's a lot of people with feelings that were different from mine when I was, later in life. I was a Republican as a kid. I think I've told you this. Because my mother was and my grandparents were. Richard Nixon was at a neighboring high school, and we were. If you wanted to go, you could get out of class and go.
Right.
I went and heard him, and I had a Spiro Agnew Nixon sign, and I ran next to his car, and everything else. I swear, and it was crazy. But by the time I went to college, I went to a university, and I got out of that mindset. My mind opened up, and I always voted in, but Jimmy Carter was my first election. But the point is, this is a guy who's preaching that going to college is wrong unless you're trying to get your MRS degree. Women finding a husband.
Right.
Because God forbid if you go to college and you're around gay people, black people, Jewish people that I didn't grow up with.
Fill in the blank. Yep.
And my mind changed. My mind opened. But they don't want that. They want you to stay dumb and sick. That's how they want you to stay. And they
want you to keep your worldview very small.
Very small.
Very small. And it's not about looking towards your neighbors. It's not about looking towards even like neighbors, community, city, going out, expanding. Like you're saying, it's like folks who have not experienced something else.
No.
This is all that people know. And they are playing on that fear of, oh, this is all you know. You don't know any gay people. You don't know any trans people. They're coming for your kids. They're coming to indoctrinate everybody.
Yeah.
They're coming to do whatever, There's nothing about just expanding your worldview. And that's where it happened. And then you have people like Kirk who capitalizes on that. And it's very complicated because, again, this is we talked about, seconds for the First Amendment. People love to, especially the right, love to scream about the First Amendment and how they're being persecuted and how they're being silenced and how they're being censored. And I'm like, I don't recall anybody ever silencing you or saying you can't say what you say or what you believe, but you have to remember that there are consequences for what you say. Now, I'm not
fire in a crowded theater.
Now, I'm not saying that he
deserves
or that he brought it upon himself or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. But for people who want to just scream First Amendment, First Amendment, First Amendment, it's like, of course you can say whatever you want. But if you're going to say something hateful or that stokes violence, you have to pay there are consequences for these things. And it's not because we're trying to say you can't say that. We're just saying what you're saying is pretty awful.
Yeah. Awful things he said.
And that's
repulsive things he said.
Yeah, and that's another piece of trying to grapple with this, just as somebody who hopes to be a compassionate and empathetic person, and trying to understand what's going on, but also being really, really aware of the facts of what's happening. Then there was another opinion piece. Yeah. Again, these are opinion pieces that I'm putting from the Advocate, entitled "We Must Not Posthumously Sanitize Charlie Kirk's Hateful Life."
Yes.
And this is by Aaron Reed, and Reed writes, quote, Charlie Kirk was not practicing politics the right way. His work should never be, quote, continued. He embodied everything corrosive about American politics today. He turned the anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ plus panic of the 24 election into the centerpiece of his message, fueling many of the political ads that blanketed the country, ads rooted in narratives he and his network of far-right allies manufactured. He called for Nuremberg trials of gender-affirming care providers. He started a professor watch list, which called on his followers to report leftist propaganda in the classroom, which reportedly led to the families of those on the list being terrorized with death threats. His model of politics was not dialogue, but trolling, hopping from campus to campus to bait students, churn out sound bites, and spread hate. And this rhetoric was not debate. It was violent, dehumanizing, and designed to put targets on people's backs. You can stand against political violence as anyone with a conscience does. You can call for a politics rooted in kindness, something that we desperately lack today, and something I know the absence of intimately as a transgender person who has lived under the weight of rhetoric like Kirk's. You can and should condemn killing over speech, but to ask that people carry on Kirk's, quote, work is a bridge too far. We must not valorize his life. We must not sanitize his hate. Not now, not ever.
Amen.
Again, that was a piece by Aaron Reed in The Advocate. So,
yeah,
y'all.
I you know, when I swim every several days a week, and my mind is, it's the only time I don't hear anything. I don't,
which is great.
You know, but I was thinking, the thought I had on Friday when I was swimming was, why do so many people in America think what he says is okay? The fact that what he says about gay people, what he says about black people, what he says about trans people, why is it okay? Why is he a hero for saying hateful things about your fellow humans and Americans? That part hurts my heart.
Yeah.
That they think it's okay, that he's a hero, that he should be worshipped, that he should have military carrying his coffin, that flags should be at half-mast. Flags should be at half-mast for somebody who helped get you elected, who helped spread your hate and divisiveness. This is what hurts me, that so many people think it's okay.
I know. Well, this is where we are, and this is where we've been for a while. I remember, I remember a time like years ago, I was doing a podcast as a guest, and I was supposed to be like hey, come on, be funny. There we are. And I'm like, I can't. My heart right now is really, really heavy, where half the country thinks the other half is evil. And that goes both ways.
Yes.
That goes both ways. And what I have been trying to understand and I still don't get it, because there are many people in my life in person where that are MAGA. But there's 30% of the country would vote for him again right now. And I just don't understand. And this is what I just want them to explain to me. Why? What is it about? Like, is it just a cult of personality and you don't have to do any thinking? Because with fascism, you don't have to think. There's just somebody's telling you what to do.
They won't admit that, but yeah, that's probably part of it.
But like, I just want to,
I agree.
I want to know. I want to know again, like how, you know, your marriage is affecting theirs. You know, the fact that that this person would say, like, every time I got onto a flight and there was a black pilot.
I wondered if he was a DEI hire.
Yeah.
And am I going to be safe?
Like what?
How
what
horrible.
Insanity is this?
It's unconscionable that people think this is okay.
So.
Yeah. I had to unfriend some people this week again. One of my high school friends from Prospect Heights, who said he was a good man. He was a family man. He was a father. Yes, that's true. And nobody should be murdered. But to say he's a good man, he didn't say good things to me. He didn't say good things about other humans that I care about.
Yeah.
And if you care about me as a gay person, you can't call him a good man either, because he's spewing hatred, taking Bible verses and concocting them, to say, it's okay to kill.
Yeah.
If a man lays down with another man, but whatever he was quoting from, it's just,
they all love Leviticus.
It's Leviticus. Yeah, that's our fave. But anyway, I guess we need to take a break.
We do need to take
callers,
a break.
We are going to get to you. Michael, I see you're there. We're going to get to you.
We are going to get
to
you.
So
we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, there is more Out Chicago right here on WCPT, Heartland Signal.
Welcome back. I'm Stacey Ann Chin, activist, writer, performer. You're listening to Out Chicago on WCPT 820.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller. And hey, tomorrow on Live, Local, and Progressive, Joan Esposito will be talking to infectious disease specialist Dr. Stockton Mayer of UIC's Department of Medicine, Susan Damas, executive editor of the Lincoln Square Substack newsletter, Carolyn Fiddler, state politics expert and communications director for the Democratic Attorneys General Association, and Northlight Theater artistic director B.J. Jones. Northlight's new production, The First Lady of Television, is playing through October 12th at the North Shore Center for the Performing Arts and has the ringing endorsement of Ellen Miller.
Yes, ringing.
Live, Local, and Progressive weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., heartlandsignal.com, and tune in. So before we took a break, we were just trying to talk about how we are navigating this horrible news, this horrible event that has happened, the rise of political violence that is going on, the fact that you have somebody like in the White House who was trying to go out, like, we're going to get everybody who said anything, like, who had celebrated one moment of Charlie Kirk's death.
We didn't celebrate his death.
But also at the same time, do you remember when Paul Pelosi was attacked?
Yes, I know what you're going to say. Yes.
And do you remember, like...
Oh, yeah, what he said, that we should bail the guy out of jail. We should all pitch in.
That's Kirk.
Kirk.
Yeah. But Ding Dong.
Oh, yeah, with Ding
Dong. And Ding Dong Jr. Ding Dong Jr., like, posting these horrible memes on Twitter of, like, underwear and a hammer on it. And memes about, like, here's your new Halloween, like those Halloween kits of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they were just, it was like, where was the outrage there?
Aren't we better than this, America? Aren't we better?
I don't think we are. I don't think we are right now.
Well, our leader is not better than this. And the people that follow him, I guess, are blindly following the repulsive actions and rhetoric of this leader, quote unquote, that is not a leader at all. Just a self-centered narcissist who cares about himself and not the country, never has. How many terms do we have to see him do? You know, first term, we saw how he was during COVID. Now we had to see him. We see him again just in the, 7-8 months that he's been in office.
It is a total poop parade.
It is.
It is a total poop parade. It's what's going on. But so I don't know. We've got a caller, Michael O'Connor. It seems like you want to talk about, like, how do we deal with hate? Welcome back. How are you, Michael?
Hey, Michael.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning. I have listened to you guys for quite some time. I decided I was not going to call in for a period so I could just hear what, just the conversation. And I have enjoyed it. Let me just say that.
Well, thank you, Michael.
I really, I'm from a generation where there was no such thing as the LGBTQ. It was called gay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were called. And I don't, let me just ask the question to you and maybe the audience, but why am I supposed to have empathy for someone who suggests gays should be stoned?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that defies logic.
Correct.
For me.
Yes.
Why am I supposed, it's not about, it's not that complicated to love thy neighbor as thyself. Allegedly, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, it is complicated for people to, for us to understand that, because why am I supposed to grieve an unfortunate death of someone who actively advocated against diversity, equity, or inclusion in America?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it defies logic.
Yeah, and
why am I supposed to? And Trump, I was so pissed. Let me just say this, and I know I'm going to have to raise my Arab consciousness, but let me just say this. When Trump said, I love the smell of deportation,
mm-hmm.
I was like, wow. I really suggest that he should stop sleeping with his nose in Melania's hair, his wife, because she is an immigrant. Now, they jumped far ahead in the line. Her parents are here. I have seen them hunt people
chain migration.
down.
Yeah, they did the typical chain.
Yeah. And it's not the first time. And you asked the question about, is this America? And I'm like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it tells me, my history tells me in 1874 that white supremacist militia attacked New Orleans and overthrew Louisiana's elected integrated state government in what became known as the Battle of Liberty Place. That is our history.
Mm-hmm.
In 1963, it is our history when they bombed the 16th Street Baptist Church and young black girls who attended the Sunday school were killed. I mean, hate is hate, and because of this hate, I do believe that people are not going to go back to their corners, because you can't tell me I don't have a right to exist.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that it should be normalized that somebody goes to Leviticus, because that's where he went.
Yeah,
that's where I would go there.
To basically say, they always do that, and that is hate.
That is hate.
Why is my tax dollars going to Air Force Two,
carrying his coffin,
carrying his body, when we got millions of individuals who are homeless that they've thrown in jail with my tax dollars in Washington, as known as Chocolate City?
Yeah, Michael.
LGBTQ people are caught up in that, and we are going to have to go back to that tried and true solution of marching in the streets.
Yep.
I'm for it.
You know what, Michael, we are all for it, and we're also all for having you call us again. Thank you so much for
Michael.
calling
we
today.
got another caller we want to get to, but thank you so much. And just a quick thing about the empathy. Kirk said, I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. Okay,
Yeah,
just
so
wondered how he
there we
felt
go.
about empathy. Should we go to the other
let's
caller?
go. And Steve, welcome. You're on Out Chicago.
Yes, well, the reason that we should care is that we are better than they are.
Yes.
I have no love of people who abuse children, who commit homicide, who do all sorts of things. But at the same time, I'm opposed to capital punishment. Doesn't mean I love them. It's just that I don't believe that killing people is a way to resolve our differences.
Right.
And I'm not going to donate to the Charlie Kirk Scholarship Fund or give to any cause he advocated for simply because he ended up being killed by someone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the real question is, what do we do going forward? Because the fact is that I don't want to go around blaming people like Charlie Kirk, but he played a role in creating the atmosphere in which this happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, and Donald Trump is of the same ilk. Instead of being out in front of this and being the leader that a president should be and denouncing all violence, Donald Trump singled out only that violence committed by people on the left.
Yes.
And completely ignored the rest of it, as if it's only a problem on the left, when in fact the majority of it is on the right.
That's true.
And so, again, just say, let's step back. Let's not say that, that the person who disagrees with me, my neighbor, my friend, my family member, is the enemy. No, they're a fellow American. We disagree on some things. We can agree to disagree without pointing a gun at one another. But no, that's not what you got from Trump. But again, let's not descend into becoming these people, and instead, again, a higher space, a higher level of existence. Because in the end, I think we will come out ahead and triumph over this.
Amen.
But the answer is not get your guns because they got theirs. No, we cannot go down that route.
I hear you, Steve. I agree with what you're saying. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for calling. And,
And let's not lose, we only have a minute left, but remember, we've since learned that this sniper killer dude comes from a MAGA family, gun-toting MAGA family. He never voted, but his parents have voted, Republican. They were quick to, as we know, point the fingers at at Democrats. But what are they saying now? What are they saying now?
Well, we don't know. I mean, that's the other thing. We don't know what's going on. We don't know his motive. We don't know where his political leanings are. We don't know. And we can't, like, that's the problem with, like, social media right now, because a lie will go around the world faster than the truth. So, again, we got to pump the brakes, folks.
He certainly wasn't a liberal, left-leaning. There's nothing to show that was at all true based on where he's from.
Right, but that's just based on where he's from. We don't know what was going on inside his head.
Well, they say he was, maybe he wasn't right enough. I don't know.
No, I know. But again, these are things we're all just speculating,
That's right.
and we can't throw out
and here's
things
the problem.
as truth.
How do we trust the FBI and the president and everybody to now let us really know what the truth is? It's very sad. We used to be able to trust the branches of our government. Now it's all just been compromised.
And yes, you are correct about that.
Anyway, on that happy thought.
On that happy note, we're going to take a break. You can throw in a little news, and when we come back, it is the second hour about Chicago, right here on WCPT 820.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
Welcome to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, doing a hard pivot.
Yes, we are.
Because this is the gay show.
We do it, yes.
We can do a hard pivot.
We can do whatever
What's going
we want.
on there? We can also, like, whip up a really delicious dinner and be dancing at the same time. And I also will quote Rent because I'm gay. The opposite of war isn't peace, it's creation. And we have got some creations, some art to fill us this hour. A little bit later on this hour, we're going to be speaking with Jeffrey McHale. He is a filmmaker who has directed the documentary centerpiece for Reeling 2025. It's called It's Dorothy. It is spectacular.
Really good.
I'm really looking forward to chatting with them, but I'm also really looking forward to chatting with our next guest. Because Open Space Arts presents the U.S. premiere of Cameron Rasdal Monroe's semi-autobiographical drama, Gangsta Baby. It's the story of a young gay sex worker in the working-class city of Hastings, UK, as he navigates a volatile and complicated relationship with his homophobic gangster father. Joining us now are playwright and actor Cameron Rasdal Monroe and director Ricky Beetle Blair. Thank you both for joining us today. I know it's kind of crunch time with tech coming up.
No, it's a pleasure to speak to you.
Absolute pleasure.
Well, again, thank you so much, because I know it is crunch time. First of all, how y'all doing?
Well, we're fabulous. We're loving the city. We've had an amazing time here. Everyone's been incredibly welcoming. The theatre scene is beautiful. Queer scene is beautiful here. I think we're just really grateful to be here. What do you think, Rick?
I'm loving it. Everything, the architecture, the people, the food, the weather, everything's wonderful.
Oh, great.
Wonderful.
We're so happy to
Well,
hear
I'm glad that we are setting the stage for you to tell the story, Gangsta Baby, a tale as old as time. This Cameron, how did the play come about?
Well, the play came about from me and Ricky working together. We did a mentorship for a year. Ricky mentored about 50, 60 different students over Zoom last Sunday of every month. Oh, more. Sorry, dear.
Don't sell Ricky short.
And then I basically ended up writing almost a script a month just to learn to write properly, get that, to really hone my voice and what I want to talk about. And then Ricky sat with me in a restaurant in Soho in London and told me, your life is quite interesting. And I went, well, I'll write that when I'm like 40 and have a residency somewhere and, life will sweet. And then I sent Ricky an email saying that, I'm going to do it. I'm ready to do it. I want to do it artistically and I want to do it with you. And we've gone on this journey together.
Yes, so his life was even more interesting than I expected it to be.
Yes, so the play is semi-autobiographical. Am I to assume that you indeed had a gangster father?
So my father was in and out of incarceration when I was younger. I was a sex worker. I was an addict. I'm sober for a number of years now. I grew up in Hastings. So really what I wanted to do is communicate and have a cathartic experience about my life, but also have it be artistic. So yes, my father was in criminal class and was in prison. These things are all true, but I wanted to make sure the audience is the most important person. I think when you're saying semi-autobiographical stories, we have to remember that the audience are on a journey with us.
Right.
So you heighten things, you lessen things, you change things. It's a chop and change, but it is a very cathartic experience for me. So yes.
Oh, all right, okay. So it sounds like you have had a very interesting life, as Ricky pointed out. But how wonderful to find an artistic partner to help create this piece. What was that process like? Were the two of you just working in tandem? Did you write together? Or Cameron, did you just go off and then Ricky, you would come in and be like, let's have conversations and move this, and as you were saying, heighten this, get rid of that? What was that process like?
I think, well, firstly, like, Ricky is an icon. So one of the first plays I read was Bashman. So as a queer working class man in the UK, Ricky is the playwright. So it was a privilege to work with him anyway. So the trust was there. I think Ricky is an incredibly loving human being. So he makes you feel incredibly safe as an artist. So really, Ricky's process is quite a rigorous one, which is one I've learned from him now. So if you don't mind me saying, Ricky, I would write a draft, we would read through, and then he would give his general notes, and then I'd rewrite, and then we'd go phrase by phrase first, and then line by line, and then word by word. So really what Ricky's about is the specificity in writing. Am I right in saying, Ricky?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Cameron, I'm very fortunate to mentor a bunch of amazing writers, and Cameron is one of those that is incredibly poetic but naturalistic at the same time. He's really good at bringing the poetry out of the human voice and of each character. Each character has their own kind of eloquence and their own awkwardness of speech. And so respecting that, then I push him more in each direction. Oh, I love what you're doing here. Maybe make them a bit more slangy. Maybe this word will be funnier. Maybe this word will be more moving. Or what other words do you think you could use here? And then, of course, cutting. You know, Ricky Scissorhands comes out.
Ricky Scissorhands.
You got to kill your darlings.
You got to kill your darlings.
I know. But that's something that's so wonderful. I love that you talk about the poetry of everyday life. You know, these sound like very real characters. But but when you're able to, like, as you are, the process that you two went through, where you get down to the granular level of the specificity of words and of intention and like, will this be funny? I think there's something that heightens up that poetry of everyday life that lends beauty to the brutal.
100%. Because one of the most important things was to make it super entertaining. And so, and Cameron's naturally very witty and funny, and his characters are too. So we're able to, and very British, and actually a very, we found a very Chicagoan thing to have to kind of be brutally honest and at the same time funny and charming, you know.
Did the play evolve in any unexpected ways during the development or during the previews of the work?
I think the play is always developing. I think I always see playwriting, really any art form, but playwriting for me as sculpture. So you start with a big brick of marble and you're slowly chipping away. And that's always going to be, that's a continuing process for me and for Ricky. Mm-hmm. So we always are looking to improve things, always looking to make things better, and always looking to make the audience's experience more visceral, more enjoyable, more funny, more loving, more tender. I think that's just being an artist, isn't it? We always want to make it grow.
Yeah.
Right.
The big surprise for me was just how brilliant he is. I mean, no one's going to read my first play. And so no one's going to get a look at that.
Smart.
And Cameron has just written an extraordinary play right out the gate. Mm-hmm. And that was the real surprise. And that he was learning so quickly and so uninhibitedly. He was just so open to ideas and always was whatever you gave him, he would kind of go, yeah, I'd love to go that far. In fact, I'll go a bit further. He'd always see you and raise you on every hand you dealt him, which was amazing.
And Cameron,
still does.
Did you have any writing? Did you study writing, or did you always fashion yourself as a poet or a writer, or I mean, where did it come from?
So for me, I got really lucky. So I learned to read and write really late. I'm severely dyslexic. So I had a teacher. I was very what we call gobby, so mouthy, cheeky at school. So I'd get kicked out of class a lot, get a lot of detentions. And then I had a teacher, a lovely woman called Miss Armstrong, who, when I was around 13, 14, 15, these 3 years of my life, she was like, no, just don't send them to detention, send them to my class. And she was a drama and English teacher. So she would put a play on the computer and then give me the play text, and I followed the words, and that's how I learned to read. So theatre really was the thing that gave me access to education and gave me an interest in education and kind of gave me the confidence to believe in my own intelligence and creativity. And then I went to drama school for a couple of years.
So you were learning theatre structure while you were watching those videos?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's literally because it's all creative. You read a play text, you build it in your head, and that made sense to me, and I enjoyed it. And shockingly, when you're a teenager, you do what you enjoy.
Right.
You're not going to do anything else.
And if you're lucky, as you continue on in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you're still doing what you love, which is And I love the fact that it comes down to a teacher. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's cool. No, of course. But it was a teacher that really that interjected and really changed the course for me. And then I went to drama school for a couple of years, so I studied acting. I didn't enjoy it that much, so I left, and then I met Ricky, and then this is how we started. That's been the journey. But yeah, no idea that I'd be here, let alone writing plays and taking them to Chicago.
Right.
It's honestly such a privilege.
That's what I was going to say. It was a huge, the play Gangsta Baby was a huge hit in London. And now, what has been the process like of bringing it across the pond? I mean, you're working with 3 Chicago actors. What challenges does that pose, specifically like infusing the show with that specific, that UK, that British sensibility?
Because I think we have amazing actors to start with.
Yes.
Ricky would be best.
Well, Chicago is famous for gritty theatre and bold actors with less pretension, though I love them, than New York actors who kind of see themselves as actors.
Yes, so true.
We
and
agree.
Chicago, they're all about the work, all about the grit of it. Yes, 100%. So they've been incredible. They're amazing accents. And British accents obviously we're very fussy about it, and they're amazing accents, and they've got great ideas and suggestions, and we're working with such an amazing theatre as well that lets us completely change the space and paint it and do anything we want to it. And so the whole experience here has been that we can rebuild the play even more in the kind of image of what's coming out of Cameron's amazing mind. Now, which is my job to build that bridge between Cameron's mind and the audience's perception of what we're doing. And it's just a joy every day. Everyone here is so, open-minded and courageous, and again, seeing me and raising me on every hand, which is, you can't ask for more than that. And so we feel Cameron rewrote the play, added a lot of new material, and again, we've been cutting it down.
Oh, wow.
And so, yes, it's a play that goes deeper, gets funnier and gets sadder and more romantic than the last version of the play that we did a year ago.
I love that. I love that it's
evolving.
Still a living thing, and I'm good friends with Josh Oder.
Jensen, Knudsen.
Yes.
Brian Nicholas Carter, the other Abbey actors.
Just great people.
I'm just in love with my cast. I'm just hopelessly. My main direction is, could you just keep doing it like that?
That's pretty nice. That's
Do it
great.
like that. Do it like
fantastic.
That. All right, so Cameron,
just keep it like that, but keep going.
Right.
I love it.
So Cameron, what is it like performing your own work?
It's very interesting. I find it a very cathartic experience. I find it really enjoyable. I love acting, and particularly for this play, I think for actors, when you write your own work, you get to write roles that you want to do.
Right.
So it's nice to do a role where I'm like, I really want to do this role.
Yes.
Because you don't always get that as an actor. So that is just a massive privilege. And then also, it's really just a big time for play and exploration. And I learn more as a writer about my play when I perform in it, because I'll be acting something and I'll see actors work and we'll have that line just doesn't work. It just doesn't hit. Okay, it's got to go because they're great actors and I'm putting my best into it. It's not working.
Right.
So I really learn more as a writer as I act. But really, it's I get to share this story. And every time I do, after a performance in London, I'd have one or two, thankfully, a lot of people very much enjoyed it. But I'd have one or two people that'll come up to you and go, my dad was like that. Oh, my brother was like that. Oh, no, I had that when I was a kid too. And this story used to make me feel quite isolated. It used to make me feel very alone. And then doing this play and performing it and seeing the reactions after, I go, oh, I'm not alone in this. This is actually a very common queer experience. And I get to share that and connect with people. And it's been a really beautiful process of that, of learning that you're not alone in your stories. And this play is a love story, ultimately. Even though it's a tragedy and things are difficult, everyone's trying to do the right things in all the wrong ways. And I feel like that's very much like life. So I've learned a lot about
very
life,
much the
about
human
myself.
condition.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
And the human condition.
Something I've really noticed is that doing that run, and I was there basically at every performance of the last run, and what I've noticed that Cameron, who everyone was worried would be traumatized by telling this story, was just so joyful and leads the cast into a place of courage and joy. But also, then when we sat down and he's done the rewrites and we're going through those for this version, how much love he seemed to have discovered for the people he was writing about.
Oh, wow.
Before he was kind to them, but there was a lot of pain there. And now it's almost a love story to some people who did some terrible things or said some terrible things in his life. He's really found the love for them. And so it's healing for kind of everybody concerned.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to what you were saying, the response you received in the London run, where like this, people were relating, and by finding that poetry in everyday life, by going very specific and granular on it, you make it universal, because with the specificity becomes the more universal, and it just sounds like this is going to be a tremendous gift to Chicago. I know Josh has been very excited about this for months, so but we're very, very excited, and we're so grateful to have you two incredible artists being a part of our Chicago theater community right now. You want to make sure that you check out the U.S. premiere of Cameron Rasdall Monroe's Gangsta Baby. It's presented by Open Space Arts, and it runs September 19th through October 5th. For more information and for tickets, because you got to buy those tickets.
Yes, you do.
Go to Open Space. I don't get it. Guess her quick. OpenSpaceArts.org. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to meet you both.
Again, we know that you are in tech right now, and the fact that you're able to put coherent sentences together is just phenomenal. So good luck with the process as you head into opening and previews and opening. Cameron Rasdall Monroe and Ricky Beetle Blair. Break all the legs, and we look forward to seeing you at Open Space Arts.
We will, in your honor. We will break them in your honor.
Oh, well, thank you.
For such a lovely interview. Thank you.
All the best to you both. Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Bye.
Enjoy Chicago. Bye.
All right.
We will.
I
know. All right, we've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are chatting with the director of the documentary centerpiece for Reeling 2025. It's Dorothy. Filmmaker Jeffrey McHale joins us on the other side of a break, so stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Hi, my name is Amy Sumter. I'm a comedian as well as She's Crafty, and you are listening to Out Chicago.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller.
Yes,
and I hope that you're ready to go somewhere over the rainbow. Oh, wow. We need to leave that to Judy.
Yes,
and other people.
Nobody can do it like Judy.
Hey, it's that time of year again. Reeling 2025, the 43rd Chicago International LGBTQ Plus Film Festival begins September 19th. And this year's documentary centerpiece is It's Dorothy, a magical remix of archival and cinematic art and interviews that shines a light on how Dorothy Gale from The Wizard of Oz has become a queer cultural touchstone. And joining us now is director, filmmaker Jeffrey McHale. Welcome to the show, Jeffrey.
Hey Scott. Hey, Alan.
Nice to have you, Jeffrey.
Girl, first off, congratulations. This film is just wonderful. I was amazed at how many layers were involved just with this, that you were able to uncover with this film. It explores the intersectionality of race, gender, queer culture. It's filled with so many stars, and many of whom have played Dorothy. Before we get into talking about the film, I want to know, when was the first time you encountered Dorothy Gale and the Wizard of Oz?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for the compliments. Like many of the people that I spoke with, Oz came to me at a young age, and it's one of those things where I don't remember the first. So many people I spoke with cannot remember the first time because it was always with them. Mm-hmm. So, I grew up loving the MGM film and loving Judy's performance. I grew up then, kind of discovered Return to Oz with Fairuza Balk, many years after that. And so, and then as I got older, I dipped into like the other adaptations and fell in love with The Wiz. And so it was, Oz was something that was always around and always something that I loved and appreciated. But, it didn't occur to me to kind of play with it creatively until, a couple of years ago. And I knew, like, how do I touch on all the things about Oz that I love and all the films and the properties? And I realized that Dorothy is the through line through all of those, through the women who played her. There's no other character in our culture like her that has been, adapted and reimagined so many different ways for so many different communities. She's the true, the original pop culture icon. And so I wanted to explore her and every facet of her. And so it was, like you said, it was fun to find those intersections, those ways that, these moments of identity connect with other points,
Yeah. So what would you say the message of Dorothy Gale is?
The message I feel like is, overall, I think it's community. It's finding people. It's bringing people with you. It's uplifting people. I think one of my Dorothys that I spoke with, the characteristics, she said it best. She said, it's the curiosity, it's the empathy, and the support that she brings to the people that she meets along her journey. And so I hope that message is something that we all can look to and aspire to in these scary, sad times.
Yeah.
Dorothy's character and even Judy Garland have always had a profound, meaning within the LGBTQ community. What is the main thing about it that makes those stories, really resonate so deeply for our community?
Well, the fun thing about all of that is because, it is just part of our, our queer DNA, like as a young queer child growing up, I was always drawn to it. And, it's one of those things where when you're a kid, you don't know why you're drawn to the things that you're drawn to, so it's funny to see the things that young queer kids, are attached to and are drawn to, and then realize when you get older, like, oh, there's like these things that are connected to larger issues and larger points of identity. And so one of the things that was fascinating to discover is there are these myths within culture that, Judy's death sparked the Stonewall riots, right. And that, the rainbow flag was inspired by Over the Rainbow, and all these things that feel like they're connected to Oz, but they necessarily aren't grounded in like historical fact. It's just like there are these myths around Oz and specifically the MGM, and obviously like Judy Garland is one of the the original gay icons.
Right.
So there's that too, and so I spoke to an author of a book called Friends of Dorothy, and he kind of goes through a lot of those points and did a ton of research and trying to figure out where the term friend of Dorothy originated from, and was it Judy's Dorothy, or were there other Dorothys that it could have been, and there isn't there's a lot of myth, and it's hard to confirm these things, because this is also these sayings and these phrases came from a point where we didn't have a vibrant queer culture and queer media, so there isn't documentation of a lot of these where these things start. So they just kind of live and exist, and they connect us with each other.
Yes, indeed. Great explanation.
And especially with something like with the term like Friends of Dorothy.
Friends of Dorothy. That was the code. Are you a friend of Dorothy?
It was very coded, and I love the fact that and it's still in play today, because I've had friends who with Second City who will go off and do these cruises, and at the beginning of every cruise, or a while back, just a couple of years ago, there would be a Friends of Dorothy meeting when you first stepped onto the ship, so you knew where all the queer people were. Nice. It's like it's still in play, and I love. Look, I don't even know how you began. That should be my question. How did you begin working? What did you start with? Did you start with the book? Did you start with the MGM movie? Did you start with Judy Garland? Where did you begin your interview? Because you got so many incredible. Yeah,
Lena Waithe, John Waters, Amber Ruffin,
folks who have played Dorothy on everything, and also I loved, who was it? Was it Ashanti who was like, Friends of Dorothy? That's cute. I like that. But
I love that. Yeah.
But where did you even begin your work?
So it started with a curiosity about the women who played Dorothy, and so we had a very small list of the larger properties and the larger films, and so that's kind of where I started, was just kind of starting to reach out to some of the actresses and kind of get their gauge their interest, and see if they would be interested in chatting with me. I connected with the first Dorothy that I met with was Shanice Shante from The Wiz Live. And we actually met in Los Angeles at an event prior to Judy Garland's 100th birthday. There was a lot of Oz people in town for this, big event for her that her family was throwing. It was a fragrance launch too, and she was there, and so she had been on my radar, and so I wasn't sure this would be the night that I would kind of pitch it to her and introduce myself, but we hit it off immediately, and so once we had kind of some Dorothys that we were interested in speaking with, then it was then the fun part was thinking about these other kind of cultural voices like Rufus Wainwright and John Waters. And I mean, it's one of the most, the most watched films of all time and one of the most discussed films of all time. And so you really can go in any direction. So then it's just sending out invitation requests and seeing who, would be interested in talking with me. And so, one of the fun parts of this was what is the story? What is the narrative? How are we going to track this? In the beginning, I thought a fun creative challenge would be okay, we know what biopics look like for these, historical artists and figures. What does a biopic of a fictional character look like? And so that was kind of how I kind of approached it from the beginning. But, as I kind of moved along and started editing, it was very obvious, okay, this can't be a chronological story. We can't just go from book to Judy to on. We need to immerse these experiences, because these are human experiences. These are the things that these women went through. We can all relate to them, and so I wanted to really attach the themes to the experiences that they had throughout their lives, and use those points to connect them to the narrative of Dorothy in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum.
You did a great job.
The fun part was just kind of finding the text, and thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, I was Well, first, I was very excited that you had Rufus Wainwright.
Yes, we
there.
both are big Rufus fans.
We're big fans. Actually, the two of us, he was here a couple years ago and did his Judy concert at City
Carnegie
Winery.
Hall. He did
we did that.
version.
So we were both at that show. But what's also that I loved is like, and what really hit me the most was like, I'm so glad you brought up Shanice Shantae. She was this undiscovered star at 19 years old who played the Wiz, like Dorothy in The Wiz on NBC when they do those live musical things, and just her story, how it paralleled or like the Dorothy Gale experience of being swept up into this madness magical world and then just coming back out of it was it was just so satisfying. This movie is so satisfying.
My wife and I both loved it. I didn't know, we didn't know what to expect, and that's when something is even better, is when you walk away going, wow, that's fantastic.
And that was the fun thing about this, too, is like everybody knows MGM. Most of us know The Wiz. And so I was really excited to introduce audiences to some of the names that they may not be as familiar with. And, Shanice and Nichelle and Danielle Hope. I mean, we have this insane reality show over in
what was
the UK
that all
on the
about?
BBC where, so all of these experiences, as Danielle had told me, she's like, these are all very extreme ways that, these women found their path to the slippers. It's very intense. Shanice's was, a live television event on NBC. Danielle's was, this week-long reality competition show, Elimination, with 20 other women in ginghams, for the spot from Andrew Lloyd Webber, who, and so it's exploring all these interesting and fun other adaptations and other ways that the character lives in our culture, so that's the part that's fun for me,
Speaking of living in our culture, I'm sure you're aware that the Sphere just last week did their version of The Wizard of Oz. I had a lot of friends out there for a blues thing, and they were all posting video that they took. It's enduring. It just keeps going. I mean, I don't know many pieces of work that continue to evolve and are matter to people like The Wizard of Oz. Are you planning to go see that?
I want to. I would love to.
Yeah.
I hope, at some point I'm in Vegas.
Yeah.
It might be hard to make a trip just to see it, but I would absolutely love to see it. I mean, just the way, it's an experience, and they turned it into an experience. Yeah. It's something that you need to experience there. So, it's one of those things every generation that is alive today has experienced this film, and they're this character, and there's not many things that you can say that about now. In a couple of years, we'll have Marvel and Star Wars. Everyone alive will have, experienced those things. But right now, it's Oz.
Yeah.
Well, and like in all the reiterations of it, you've got, like you said, like The Wiz. You've got that very creepy Return to Oz. That's there. You have, Wicked right now, which is the other side of the story.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's amazing. It just keeps going and going.
Yeah, which, again, your film, It's Dorothy, which is the centerpiece documentary for Reeling 2025, it does, I love the fact that it's not linear. It's very circular in how you show that, like, with this, like if you're talking with one of the actors who's played Dorothy and how that resonated differently, like it rubs up against another experience and how it really becomes this universal kind of vibe.
Totally. Yeah.
And that was one of the fun challenges too, was like, you asked about Judy early on, like, that Judy was always kind of like the biggest question in my mind of like, how do you approach Judy? How do you tell Judy's story? Because, she lives it in a way that nobody else has. And so once I realized, like, okay, like Judy can't just have her own little section. She needs to kind of live throughout this, and so I went back and watched all of Judy's films again. And found ways to weave together her moments from her films throughout this film. and connect it with Dorothy's journey, and that was a lot of fun.
It really is. Again, I can't say how much I love this film. I have a question for you. Have you ever read the novel Was by Jeffrey Ryman?
I have not, but it's on my radar, and it's on my list for sure. Yeah,
the only reason I bring it up it's personal for me because when I was in college they did an adaptation of this novel which follows two different stories. One is the story of the real Dorothy Gale and what happened. It's not good. Oh my gosh. It's very bleak, but it's also kind of gives you another again showing how enduring this character is. That they would make they keep spinning everything off. Pick it up when you have a chance. But
I will do that.
Right. But so what do you hope folks take away when they go see It's Dorothy?
I hope that the interesting thing about these screenings and the festivals that we've done so far, which are so exciting, and it's incredible just to see the reaction from the audience and see the emotion, and like you said, like the surprise, their surprise of like people that may not have thought they connected with Dorothy and her journey, to see themselves and to see others in their lives within this character. And so I think, and I hope that this character can be used as a way to connect with each other and show our humanity to each other. I feel like that's kind of what we need to see.
It's a constant. We need that constant reminder for sure, Jeffrey. For sure. Are you coming to Chicago for the?
Oh my God, I would not miss it. I lived in Chicago for 8 years. Went to Columbia College, Chicago for film school. I have lots and lots of friends there, so I will be there.
Excellent. Well,
we cannot wait to see you along with all of the friends of Dorothy. So when you go, check out Jeffrey McHale's It's Dorothy. It screens next Sunday, September 21st at 4:15 at the Landmark as part of Reeling 2025. You don't want to miss it. It's just wonderful. Congratulations again. For tickets and more information about It's Dorothy and the rest of the festival lineup, head to reelingfilmfest.org. Jeffrey McHale, congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much for this film. We really loved it.
Thank you much. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ellen. This was so fun.
Well, thank you for really just filling our hearts and taking us to places that we never knew we could go with the friends of Dorothy.
Yes.
No place like home.
There is no place like homos. All right, so we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments about Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Welcome back to Out Chicago on Chicago's Progressive Talk. Can I get you another Bellini?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you, Stephanie Miller. Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller. Hey, this week on Driving It Home, Dwayne Kennedy, Elliot Serrano, and WCPT's Paul Shivari will be in for the vacationing Patty Vasquez. Come on, Paul. What the what? Amazing. Come on, Paul.
Turn into that.
Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Central on WCPT, 820 a.m., the Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTubes, and the Face Place. It's so funny. Do you remember your first time with the Wizard of Oz? Like when you first...
Yeah, I sort of do because the flying monkeys haunted me.
Yeah. Like for me, it was definitely like it's got to be CBS. Because there was a time, like, growing up, like, in the 70s, where, like, every Thanksgiving, they would show The Sound of Music. And then around every Easter time spring, they would always show The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
And I just remember it being a part of my existence. But I remember, like, being just completely astonished when they go from black and white to color.
Yes.
Like, as a kid, I think it's what also helped me go into my head that I thought that color, like in the world, was a new invention.
How could you not when you see something go from black and white to color?
But when I look at, like in the world. Like when I looked at like through family photo books,
everything
was in black and white. And I'm like, oh, they just invented color later on. That was also like 4.
Well, you were little.
I was very, very little.
Yeah.
But there was something so, it's like she was so pretty. Her voice was just ridiculous and so adult. I was always so confused. I'm like, I remember asking my mom, like, how old is she? She's like, oh, she's like about 16. I'm like, what? Like, that couldn't even
resonate.
It hit me. I was like, what? I can't even take that in. You sound like that when you're 16. It was just, there was something just so magical.
I was going to say, it was a magical thing to see, to watch, because we never saw anything like it. There was nothing else quite like it.
Yeah, I mean, and then for a movie that was made in the 30s, you know, like it was just still something enduring. But you know, it's so interesting. Like we no longer have those shared cultural moments, you know, of gathering around the TV, you know, to watch
like the first moon landing.
Yeah, or just
like
specifically. That. Well, no, we do have those moments. I think, unfortunately, we just lived through one.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about positive ones.
Well, but I mean, I guess I'm talking about like just cultural media moments in terms of like appointment television, you know, the way that like there's streaming services and like
everybody's off on 30,000 different
30,000 things. And so as a country, we very rarely get to have that shared experience, and how
that's true.
Kind of important and how unifying it is.
It is. Like we watched every space launch as kids. It was like you had to watch it. They'd bring the TV into the classroom. You'd watch as a family. And you knew everybody you knew was watching the same thing.
Yeah.
And taking pride in your country for doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and even something not as momentous as that, just even like appointment television, you know, like
Ed Sullivan Show.
like
Everybody watched
the Beatles.
Everybody watched the Rolling Stones.
On there. But just like even like, you know, must-see TV on NBC, you know, like where you would watch, you know, Cosby Show and Friends and like people. When there wasn't so much variety of programming, I'm not saying that like where we are now is bad, because like there's some of the most amazing television that's going on right now, which is coming up with the Emmys. But but we as a society, as a culture, we never really have one thing that brings us around.
That's
even
a
like
good point. You're right.
The Super Bowl has become politicized, where people are like, I don't like the NFL because they take the knee, you know.
But I think that is the one that still is.
It's still there. Yeah. It's still, but even then, like I said, it's colored. There are people who will not they will not watch it because they take the knee. And now Minnesota has 2 male cheerleaders, so you know, like that's just
oh my God,
the gays are taking over. But I think. Again, I really think this is a time where, folks, we have to try to find community. We have to find shared experiences that we can all gather around. You know, it's not helping out with the phones and everything. I even found, like, I've been being very hyper aware of the time I spend on all devices, but particularly on my phone. And I found myself dreaming in social media. Like when I was asleep, my dreams involved scrolling.
No,
that's not good.
No, that is
we
not good.
as a culture, we don't allow ourselves to get bored and let our mind wander.
I'm so guilty. We're all guilty of it.
We are.
We can't wait in a grocery line. If there's 2 people in front of us, we all have to pull out our phones.
Well,
because God forbid
the phones
we just
are already out.
Sit there and think for ourselves, look around.
Or just think about whatever, you know, that's like where deeper thinking, that's where problem solving comes, is just when your mind can get lost in nothing.
That's why I swim 3 days a week. Right. It is the only time of the entire week when I am isolated and just in my own head.
Yeah, which is like, and that's for what, like an hour or so, you know? Like, you know, and
that's it. But I'm grateful for it.
I know. And so I've been trying to find moments where, like, I just put it down. Put it down. Get lost in your thoughts. Get bored. Like, don't, or we are in constant need of stimulation for the dopamine hit that we get. Like, even with like people walking around with, you know, headphones on or earbuds in, there's like constant stimulation as opposed to just kind of being present and being where you are. And I know I sound so Pollyanna about it, but I really think that we need to just step away from devices and unplug.
I think some of it is we're looking for good news. We want to see something that's going to make us feel good, and there's so much that doesn't make you feel good. But you're looking for something. Is there something positive? Did a court make a ruling that we feel good about, or are leaders saying things that are making us feel good? I think part of us are looking for good things, but sadly they're far and few between on social media.
Yeah,
they really are.
I mean, give me a good dog video. I'm all down for that. Look at puppies being cute.
That's what Kathy watches.
Give me some dog videos. For some reason, I'm doing all right. My algorithm is nothing but 70s variety shows and and cooking.
Love that.
So it's great. But even then, it's just also well, if you put the phone down, maybe you can be that good thing. That happy news. Because I have now fallen back into some of the worst habits of my life. I have the news is on 24/7 in my house now. Now, granted, I listen to it. I don't watch it, but it's on all the time. I'm like, why am I doing this? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed, and we keep thinking something is going to make us feel better if we keep looking. But I am not. Wednesday, we had the TV back on the news, but it's been off since Friday again. I have still, since the election, I only tune in for. I keep aware on the New York Times, but I do not have CNN or MSNBC on in my house at all, other than something major that I need to just kind of be up to date on.
Well. No.
I'm trying.
All I'm not saying is I'm longing for those days again where we have a shared cultural moment.
I agree,
where
Scott.
people rally around something silly like a Cabbage Patch Kid, or The Wizard of Oz, or the season finale of MASH, the series finale. There's something that we
Cheers. That was another
Cheers,
big
where
one,
we
remember?
all get together, to experience,
days.
Just where we go and experience something together as a community, and that's where social media is driving us further to our corners. That's what I'm thinking. So, any hoozles. Yeah. Look, I'm trying to end some things on a positive note. It seems like Dear Leader Ding Dong has decided that he no longer wants to invade Chicago.
I wonder how that happened.
Hold on. Because he knows that we ran him out of town the last time he came in.
He did.
But
our governor and our mayor stood up strong.
Governor stood up strong, and Mayor Johnson stood up strong. It does give me pause because he decides that Memphis is going to be a better place, and having lived in Memphis and knowing a little bit about that community and what's going on, that's going to be bad. I have a feeling. And it's going to be interesting. And don't forget that ICE is still present in Chicago right now. It's ramping up, especially as we enter into Mexican Heritage Month.
So sad.
But again, Chicago, this could be maybe our unifying cultural moment where we are coming together as a group. At a Monday rally here in Chicago, faith leaders voiced opposition to ICE being here. And Reverend Otis Moss closed the event with a poem, and I want to play that poem for you now.
For this poem that I wrote, that I offer this today. This poem entitled, Keep Our Name Out Your Mouth. You do not know the beauty of this space some call the Shy, the city of big shoulders and broad dreams, the city of rib tips, Italian beef, deep dish tamales, hot dogs, no ketchup, please. We are the city that is the patchwork of God's creation, formed by great migration of Mississippi, Memphis, Arkansas, Mexico, Belfast, Warsaw, and the Rome. Don't say our name if you are blind to the work of DuSable, the words of Gwendolyn, and the brush of Burroughs. Don't say our name if you don't know we invented gospel. We are the spiritual homes of Thomas A. and Mahalia J. Don't speak our name if you don't know Bronzeville birthed Lorraine Hansberry, Marlon Gibbs, and a king named Nat Cole. We keep our name out your mouth. We, the city of the Shy, the black, white, Latino, Asian, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Pentecostal, Hindu, Buddhist, Sikh, sanctified, holiness, humanist, agnostic, atheist, Anglican, queer, Quaker, suburban, urban, bougie, broke, ratchet, and redneck. Keep our name out your mouth. We, the people of this place called the Chi, from the south to the north, to the east to the west, disagree on many things, but one thing we agree. We love this city. We will fight for this city. We stand for this city. We built this city. We will defend this city and the rights of all in this city. We say unequivocally to those with unmerited privilege who occupy space temporarily in a city built by a black man named Banneker, I say for the final time this day, keep our name out your mouth.
Man, amen to that poem.
I'm telling you, keep your name. Keep your name out your mouth.
I think the city has gotten. We're not taking this line down. When he called us a hellhole, every show I went to said, "How does this hellhole look tonight?"
Yep.
It's like a pretty beautiful hellhole.
Yep.
Because people are not going to. Chicagoans are proud. They're not going to accept this, and that said it all right there.
So I'd say let this be our shared cultural moment right now.
Yes.
That's not quite as happy and as uplifting as, say, The Wizard of Oz, the annual screening of Wizard of Oz, but it is important, and it is something that we can do.
Yes.
And we're always looking for something that we can do. And so in the meantime, keep our name out your mouth. And that brings us to the end of another Out Chicago. I want to thank all of our guests, Cameron Rostell Monroe, Ricky Beetle Blair, and Jeffrey McHale. Devin, thank you so much for running everything. Paul, when are you in for Patty? What day? Friday. Paul's Friday. You can get Paul. There we are. It's great. Ella Miller, you got a busy day, so good luck with everything.
Scott, thank you so much.
There we are. I'm Scott Duff, and until next week,
stay proud.